So some tips before you apply. You need to check the CV admission requirements. Like I said before, some schools, their CV requirements are different from other schools. So you have to take note of their CV requirements, what they really want to see, or the information they want you to have in your CV. Also, take a note of the guideline from the school, if there is any. Any school will have their mode of operation. They have to tell you, okay, these are the things you need to do, just like what Amarachi taught us in the last previous session. So you have to take note of the school guideline and follow whatever information step by step. Also take note of the number of CV pages required. Even though they say your academic CV doesn't have any specific pages, but sometimes school will ask you to limit your pages to maximum of 2 or 3 because they know you might have a whole lot of information. So it won't look voluminous. So you need to limit the pages for it to be easy for evaluation and all that. Then know yourself. Think beforehand of what you would love to study. I have actually said this before. So applying to schools, it doesn't mean you just wake up one morning and say, okay, school I can't check and you start applying. No, you have to be convinced, like you have to convince yourself, I truly want to do this, and you must have a passion in that particular field. Also, list your strengths and areas of interest. I have also touched about this before. Then the next thing we have is why a good curriculum vitae application matters. Why a curriculum vitae application matters. Okay. First thing, you have to know or have at the back of your mind is that first impression matters. Because if I haven't met you for the first time and you send a document that contain a detailed explanation of who you are, reading or going through that your CV have already explained to me the kind of person you are. It has already explained to me your academic background, has also already explained to me how smart or intelligent you are. So first impression matters. Even if we are even meeting someone for the first time, that first impression matters. So we need to have at the back of our mind that whoever that we are sending this our CV, we should convince the person. Like one of my professors told me sometime that is either I convince him or I confuse him. So any of the two, one must actually go. So you need to show that first conviction that you are ready and you are prepared for that particular journey. Just like the information we have here, say the first time you showcase your profile, that is your CV and personality, which define who you are, have already, break down some certain elements of your strengths. So there is no need the person asking you some questions concerning which school did you graduated from and what is your CGPA, because most of these things are there for the person to see. And it takes only maximum of 1 minute for whoever that is actually going through your CV to be convinced, highest, because there are so many CVs that are being sent to them from other individuals. So always make your own stand out. Then another one is a profile visibility. Your profile will analyze and also be ranked with algorithm in academic CV system formats. So the way you structure your CV will also be analyzed in algorithm using academic CV system format, because academic CV has their own format. So they will check if you actually meet up with that particular CV style. So you don't just mix up some information. The one that has to be in the first page, you now take it back and bring the one that has to be in the back to the front. So it doesn't make sense. So also catch the key requirements of a course description and adopt your CV content. each course you apply and have their own key requirements and course description. So you need to be taking those terminology. If you are, for example, you are in science, maybe engineering, there are some engineering terms you have to be adopting. You need to use them so that the professor or the academic chair who will go through your CV will understand that you know truly why you are applying for that course. So it's very, very important. So it is something that we need to spend our time and make sure that every information are being written down, maybe in a rough paper before we start putting them down in building our CV structure. Then another interesting thing is you need to have a laptop because sometimes you might need to maybe add or remove or make some corrections in your CV. So we need to have a laptop. Even if you don't have, you can borrow from someone. Sometimes you might have a quick message from your mail that require you to do this and do that. So you don't need to start waiting tomorrow. So you just open your laptop, on your data and connect to your hotspot and do the necessary thing and send your document